Hi everyone! The first week race for Amascut has concluded and I want to make this video to talk about my experiences with it, specifically with the FOMO aspect to it. Let's get started. For those that are unaware, Jagex hosted a race to world's first event with a time-limited aura that you can unlock as a cosmetic if you defeat 2000% Amascut in the first week. Congratulations to the Slurpers by the way for the first kill. Because they made it possible for anyone who kills 2k during the first week to unlock the aura, instead, they technically made it possible for me to obtain. However, because there's a group boss, I just wasn't feeling it and was planning to skip the boss entirely. Let's just say my anxiety and past experiences with group content outside of Runescape played a role in this feeling. Then one day a viewer of mine, Akma, who by the way eventually became my 2k Enrage legendary baser, offered to invite me to group to try 2k Amascut. With a bit of hesitation and doubting my own capabilities, I accepted the invitation and joined the server. I decided to make arrangements to go all in to grind for this aura for the entire week. On the day of the update on Monday at update time, I grouped up with a bunch of people that I forgot who. I just assumed anyone who is trying to do 2000 Enraged Amascut is way better at PVMing than me. After 3 hours of trying to figure out the mechanics in 2K, normal mode was unlocked and most of the time was spent learning the mechanics in normal mode. The next day on Tuesday, I woke up at around the same time as update time, but the problem with group content started appearing. I woke up at the agreed time, but we couldn't get a full group. Some people were busy, some people were offline, and some people said that they would be on but wasn't online. It was a disaster. Luckily, out of nowhere, Iron Raxer offered to take me to learn Enrage mode, and I was honored. Even managed to get 500% Enrage kills. After a few hours of finishing up some 500% kills, I went back to help Akma and the others with the knowledge of wisdom I obtained, and the group in that server managed a 500% kill. At this point, I noticed I started developing problems with sleep, like I would sleep and constantly be dreaming about the boss. On Wednesday, we decided to give 1000% a try. The details are a bit foggy, but very often I notice a pattern with group content. You know that feeling where you thought you finally got the perfect group with perfect coordination until someone leaves? All that coordination gone to waste and hoping your replacement will be a good replacement. Or because of time zones, someone cannot be online at a certain time or has straight up given up on pushing Enrage. This cycle will keep happening until the end. Eventually, we managed to get the 1000% Enrage kill, and the plan was to get 2000% tomorrow. I woke up that day ready to wrap up the journey with 2000% Enrage. The only problem was the group members I did 1k with can only be online much later in the day. So instead, we attempted a few 2000% with different groups of people, only to keep failing due to coordination problems or dying to mechanics. The group members for my 1000% kill were finally available, but were only available for that one day. They were going to be unavailable the next day and the weekend. So the pressure was on to get 2k killed today, and we didn't get it. I completely underestimated the difficulty of 2k because there was a huge difficulty spike compared to 1k. Perhaps our coordination just didn't work out for 2k. After parting ways, it was just me and Akma left. We needed to form a 2k kill team that can commit for many hours because we didn't want to find someone that can only commit for 1 hour and then needing to find a replacement. So I went out of my way to contact clan members, former clan members, any PVMers I know, or even content creators. Here are the type of responses. Some of them skips group content, some of them only has done low enrages, and some of them were unable to commit to many hours so didn't want to come. I went to sleep that night being unable to sleep. The music of Amascut was stuck in my head and the FOMO was actually getting to me. I really wanted that aura and it felt like it was possible, but the deadline was closing in. On Friday, I woke up at the same time again. The details are a bit foggy, but I believe we attempted many 2000% kills, but we were unable to even get to phase 5. The pattern of getting replacements continued until eventually we found the perfect group of people. Akma figured out how to consistently base and we would get to phase 7 consistently, only to fail every single time. Then eventually someone had to go. It really sucked because we had perfect coordination in the team because we started to consistently get to phase 7. So we need to find a replacement quickly because time was running out. I originally had unrelated plans on Friday, but I had to cancel it for this. We asked someone if they can come and they said they can come in 20 minutes, only for them to ditch us in 20 minutes. So we had to ask someone else that's familiar with 2K, but they couldn't make the time to come. After everything that happened, we sucked it up, went on the official Amascut server, and found someone who happens to watch my videos. If you're watching, hi. Despite this, we still couldn't get the kill. I started at 9 AM, and even at 2 AM, I still did not have a kill. We all agreed in 12 hours to log in and try this again. But this time, I want to make sure we get through phase 7 properly. I took some time to look at the arena. I made some graphics to help better position ourselves at the start of the fight. That night, I was again having trouble sleeping. I was very worried, what if we don't get it? What if we have to go through another 12 hours and still cannot get one kill? If it wasn't for the FOMO, I wouldn't be worrying about it. I knew we could do it, but there was just so much pressure. On that fateful day, I was feeling super anxious. Actually, I have been anxious about it for the whole week. I am someone that experiences a lot of anxiety nausea, which is a really terrible thing to feel. After telling my group about the positioning of phase 7, we got to our first phase 7 of the day, and of course, it was Scabaris. Yet, despite me dying, we managed to clutch it on the first try today. If you want to see the full kill, the link will be in the description below. Shout out to the team for the 2000% Enrage kill. I found the biggest issues outside of phase 7 was getting the right timing for cleansing the statues in phase 2 and 4. If you want to know how we consistently coordinate getting to phase 7, I'll let the base tank speak about what he does and how we manage to make it work together.
Thank you, Wings. Hello, I'm Akma, and I'm here today to detail our strategy for 2K Enrage kills. The most important thing in this fight, especially for base, is positioning. Here we'll cover phases 1 to 6, and should you need more help with phase 7, make sure to check the latest video with a thorough guide from Wings, especially for movement. Let's start on phase 1. The base should stay far away from the team as possible, either on the west side or the east side, while everyone else will be facing the opposite direction and Amascut's back. This setup is mostly for the flanking Crypt Bloom effects, while also completely removing the range ricochet from her melee attacks on base, meaning no corruption stacks. On phase 2, we decided to do a 2-1-2 formation, where 2 DPS would go west and the other 2 east. The base should help the west first, help take down the crocodile, maybe the gorilla, and Surge dive to the east to help them too. Should the mark be on west side, take them to the east side as well. After that, you camp the statue of Tumeken, which is the west statue. After that, you drop Prism of Salvation in front of Tumeken and you Surge dive to Krondis. This technique only works if the Tumeken statue is cleansed first. You should not be bouncing back and forth between those statues in phase 2. You're not gonna have enough time, especially at higher enrages. Should you be fast enough, you're not gonna have the cats surging at the stairs, but if you do, make sure whoever is bringing the fragment pray melee and devotion. Phase 3 is the same as phase 1, but is more difficult due to the waves. As a mage base, staying one tile away from the second ring is best, but as a necro, you probably won't be able to do that, so watch out. You can still employ the same split we did for phase 1, but usually at this point, we just want to focus on surviving and being comfortable. As a reminder, I just want to say that we didn't clear the scarabs on phase 1, 3, and 4, and we didn't share the hit of Bend the Knee. I would use just Immortality for the Bend the Knee, and we would barricade the scarabs. Phase 4 is the same as phase 2, but this time, one of the DPSs will kill the first scarab and throw at the gorilla. The other DPS goes into the portal as soon as possible, while the remaining DPS send 2 scarabs in. base should send 2 more scarabs to both sides and check if they're good. If both sides are good, you can go and camp the stairs as base while praying melee and camping your spirit shoot. Cats are gonna hurt. Plains both statues, drop a prism in front of each. For the shards in phase 5, the order you do them doesn't matter, but usually you go east to west, charging one at a time to compensate the damage for phase 6, making sure we're gonna cap her at 1.8 mil HP. Base should be the one charging both forehands, killing the nearest obelisks. 2 DPSs should focus on the stairs and making sure no cats pass through, while the other 2 are gonna rotate between the green beams and the obelisk on the opposite side. So for phase 6, whoever comes down the platform is gonna become the new base for this specific phase, and that person should stay 6 to 7 tiles away from Amascut to make sure the rest of the team doesn't get hit. Everybody else should gather behind Amascut to make sure you're gonna deal damage to the shadow cats and the black bar. Pray mage while the cats are surging at you, and then pray melee. After the cats are down, just DPS the black bar and it's time for phase 7. As I said before, the phase 7 guide is already out. You should check that and make sure to survive. That's one of the most important things on phase 7. Thank you all for your time, and I wish you the best of luck. Back to Wings.
Thank you, Akma, for the insight. Now I know exactly what everyone else is doing when I am doing the chains. As you can see, there's just so much going on, and one mistake can easily cause the entire run. Now that we're free at last, I was finally able to sleep properly without worrying about FOMO. It was very ambitious for Jax to attempt a 1-week limited time reward for one of now the hardest bosses in the game. I really did like the idea of some sort of limited challenge, and it was definitely fun to group up with people who I've never PVM'd with before to challenge ourselves to learn it on the first week. But I do feel there are a few things that can be improved. First, there should be better communication for the deadline. Apparently the cutoff time was Monday at reset time and not Monday's game update time. This meant we actually had less than a week. Even Free Death Week ended early. Another issue has to do with the attitude towards group content, because there is a lack of a proper way to find groups in the game. I am not a fan of group content to begin with for various reasons, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun trying the boss. It was just finding replacements that can commit to many hours, and having to get coordinated with set replacement was the real difficult part. The boss takes like over 10 minutes per attempt, so there aren't a lot of attempts per hour. And of course that would just make the FOMO feeling worse. If it was a solo boss, I think 1 week would have been reasonable since we can manage our own time easier. I think 2 weeks would be reasonable for your group boss because it would give us 2 weekends to get organized. That will also give more time for more potential bug fixes should there be any game-breaking bugs. That probably would have helped with my anxiety and FOMO I felt during the first week. But at the same time, some may argue that it wouldn't be much of a challenge on the second week. And of course, a rather minor issue that I wasn't personally affected by it, but I heard there was something called leeching. In my opinion, you should be rewarded the aura if you at least made it to phase 6 or something, or / taken a certain % of damage. Usually if someone dies between phases 1 to 5, we just TP out, but if we make it to phase 6, then we at least try to get the kill. Let me know what you think. Did you participate during the first week of Amascut? If so, did you feel the FOMO was getting to you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed, and bye bye.
Your light will be snuffed out once and for all!